Hi everyone, Mike Perloff from T1A and Alchemist teams here, and I want to show you some very cool new product that we did. It's completely open source. Me and my colleagues will always have, this mess, when you have these CSV files laying around in a downloads folder, or maybe Excel files. And sometimes you just want to do, some basic stuff. You just want to open it up. Maybe you want to join tables, to like see some aggregates from multiple files. And there's so many tools out there. There's obviously full-featured SQL IDs, but it's always a hassle. If you just want to quickly open a file, like you don't want to create a project, you don't want to import files somewhere, you don't want to write along a CLI commands. You could just want to open a file, quickly look at it, and be done with it. So luckily, DuckDB is now a thing. It's awesome, and DuckDB you can run DuckDB in the browser. And there are a couple of projects like this, and they were lacking some again convenience features. And I think the product that we just did balances and adds some small but very important features that will make this kind of workload a breeze. So let me show it to you. So it's called PondPilot. And by the way, let me move my maybe on the right. So it's called PondPilot. It's basically just a page in the browser. You can open our hosted version. You can run your own. It's completely client side. There's no servers, nothing. It's just one page. And let me launch it. And what allows you to do is to open basically anything that DuckDB supports. Again, there are some limitations for the browser version, but most of what you would expect it does. So you can add either individual files, and I have a CSV file and a full DuckDB database here, or you can add folders. And I have my download mass folder, and we'll look into it in a second. And I have another folder which we'll talk towards the end. So let's see what I have. So I have an Excel file, and what you'll notice out of the gate, I think we're the only ones, the only project right now that actually allows you to load the full Excel file with all the spreadsheets. Not the only one, but all of them. And I have a JSON file, I have CSV file, and obviously I have the database. So one thing to notice is that you can now open files. I didn't run any commands. It doesn't matter if it's CSV, JSON, or whatnot. You can open it. There's a table. You can select columns. You can copy one value. You can export to CSV, and we're going to be adding more formats. You can sort the columns. So again, what you would expect from a desktop app with some basic features, but this is still pretty limiting, right? So you probably want to write some queries, and this is also possible. We have some kind of ID-like editor without a completion, and again, it shows you like the tables that we have. It has the metadata, so you can choose. I mean, what you would expect from the ID. Again, it's not perfect. Obviously, not as advanced as some of the IDs out there, but it should work. I will not write the query from scratch. I have some prepared ones, but you can see that anything that basically whatever you want. I saw the other day that Doom has been recreated using DuckDB Wasm, so you can do it here as well. You can try, but running any queries, we can see like joins and functions, whatnot. Again, it can go across even here. You can see we're reading from the Excel spreadsheets and from CSV file and JSON. And I have another script where I'm reading from the database and joining it with products from the CSV. All right. And there are some convenience features. So you can copy a fully qualified name. You can create a query directly and don't start from scratch. Same goes for databases. And again, we're trying to make it as desktop API as possible and as convenient as we can. It saves the state. So if I reload the page, you'll get back where you are, and you can save it as a progressive app, so it will be completely offline. and it's actually really offline now, except that at the beginning it had to download the DuckDB files, the actual DuckDB engine. So now back to the big data folder. So what do I have here? And no surprises, this is the trusty New York City taxi data data set. So one unique feature, and this is only available in latest Chromes, and that's why PondPilot is currently working only in Chromium-based browsers. PondPilot does not copy any data anywhere. It accesses the data directly from like desktop app. It just reads the files directly, and this is very important because all other in-browser solutions they just copy the data into the cache. So if you would try to open a 2 GB file, and this is a 2 GB CSV file, well, first of all, they need to copy the data and then they will try to read all of it. So let's see how long it takes to open the 2 GB data file in PondPilot. Yeah, this video is not sped up. It's literally a couple of milliseconds. Again, thanks to DuckDB, and it's just awesome. So you can run analytics on that. I will not run sorting because that would actually sort the 2 GB of data, which will work in the browser, at least on my machine. But it will use a lot of RAM and will take some time. But other than that, this is all operational. It's all open source on GitHub. We're happy to accept contributions. Please give us feedback. Again, it's very new. We know there are quite a lot of small bugs here and there, but otherwise I've been using it for a while, even from before we open sourced it from in earlier versions. It's really a helpful daily tool. We will obviously be adding LLM based code generation, like with your own license key, and I'm happy to hear what the community says, what kind of features you'd like. I hope it will be helpful to you. Thanks.